People are still coming. I'm trying to admit everybody. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Chinedu Innocent, and my friends call me Fabulous. And a data analyst, freelance data analyst, and also I've worked with health tech companies as well. So I welcome you all to this bootcamp, the Data Developer Bootcamp. It's actually a good opportunity for you all because it's actually a rich program that out there you have to pay a lot of dollar to be here. So without further ado, I would like to uh, tell you guys more about the journey that you're about to get into. The journey that you're about to get into. So I will assume that you all don't have any background in data analysis or you all don't have any background in tech in general. So I will assume that you don't know anything in tech. So data analysis is actually one of the high paying income skill currently in the world by Google. It's one of the top five if you search it on your Google Times. So a data analyst uh, makes use of so many tools. They make use of so many tools to make sure that they get data driven insights. So if you are here and you are a CEO or you have a store or you have something else that you're doing or you want to work for somebody as a data analyst or anything that you're doing basically anything that you're doing basically you need data because in every walks of life, in everything that we're doing in life, data is always involved. Data is always involved. So leveraging on data will actually give you an edge in so many things. It will give you an edge in administrative, it will give you an edge in blockchain, it will give you an edge in the revolutionary Web3. So as you are here, I want you to take this journey serious. If you check from the registration form, it is actually a program that you have to be very, very committed and also give it your best and give it your best. So it's going to be a 4 weeks program, and I'll be there always to hold you by the hands to show you the nitty gritties of the data analyst and also help you throughout the journey as and also we'll learn and co-learn together. So without further ado, in these onboarding sections, uh, about 100 and something participants registered, over 100 participants registered, but about 50 were being onboarded. So most of the issues were because some of the people when filling the form, they did not actually fill in their email address, their accurate email address. So after this onboarding section, rather, there will be a new form that will be issued to you all. There will be a new form that will be issued to you all so that you can fill in your accurate email address because most communications will be from there. Most communications will actually go from the email address. So the class is already pre-recorded and it's going to be self-paced and I'm also going to be there. So we're going to be having uh, 2 sections every week. So I don't want to choke everybody with sections because this bootcamp is more of doing than just coming onto sections. You must be showing something, you must be doing something, you must be building project because with everything that we're going to learn within 4 weeks, max of 4 weeks, you're going to build different analytical problems. You're going to solve problems. You're going to give solutions to problems that you can put in your portfolio because now The recruiters of today, they're not looking at your certificate. They don't want to know whether you studied this thing. They want to know whether you use Google Analytics. They don't want to know. All they are after is what can you bring? What can you offer to the table? What value can you offer to the table? What value can you offer to the table? Even as a freelance, you must also have a portfolio to show for yourself. You must have a portfolio to show that, okay, I can do this thing. So that's what we are actually going to leverage on in this particular bootcamp. So we are going to build at least three problems. You're going to give solutions to three problems, and you are going to be using some tools, analytical tools such as Excel. You'll be using Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. It's actually a sweet technology and innovative technology that you would like to embrace, and also you will learn some soft skills. So without further ado, I would like to show you all one most of the tools that you need as a data analyst. I hope you all can hear me. If you can hear me and you can see my screen, just indicate. If you can see my screen, you can actually indicate.
I can't see your screen, no.
Okay, I'm going to be. You should actually see it now. Can you see it now?
No, I
No,
can see
not.
your screen.
Okay, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So once more, you are welcomed to this particular session this night. So uh, one of the things that we are going to be building today is our GitHub. Most presenters today, most developers today, most people that are in tech per se today always uses their GitHub as a form of portfolio. It's an environment that after building your project, you go there to document it. So even when you go for job interviews, most of them will ask you, do you have a GitHub account? That alone serves as a filter. It filters the corn from the wheat, because they'll feel like if you don't have a GitHub account, it means that you've not worked on projects, you've not provided solutions, you've not actually contributed or provided a solution to one thing or the other. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a repository in your GitHub, because the data that you'll be using to do most of your projects, you have to bring it on from GitHub. So you have to get familiar with it. I'm going to give you the URL of the opening a GitHub account, and also get you familiar of how to get your data and also scrape your data from GitHub so that you can use it to work and also document your project. So as a data analyst newbie, there are things that you need to know, and there are things that you ought don't to know. So like I said earlier, data analysis is actually a high paying income skill. If you're actually following my WhatsApp status, you will see that there are a lot of opportunities in the tech space. There are a lot of opportunities in the data community, and the space is enormous that it can actually accumulate everybody. So what do data analysts do? They collaborate with key stakeholders to identify specific business challenges which need to be solved. They extract, gather the data that is required to solve business problems. they perform data wrangling. So with time, you understand all these jargons: data wrangling, data cleaning. All these things are the things that you do before you visualize your data. All these things are the things you do just to prepare your data for analysis or for visualization. They perform data wrangling, they find trends and patterns, key insights within the data using most appropriate techniques. They interpret findings, they apply market research. So if you have a business foundation in earlier on, I think you won't find this actually very hard because they are all entangled. So, but if you don't even have a prior, if even if you don't have a prior foundation, you can still meet up. It is actually a smooth selling environment for everybody. So, as a newbie in the data analysis, you should have to know some kind of soft skills such as communication skills, apart from knowing your hard skill like knowing how to do your Excel spreadsheets, Python, SQL. All these ones I'm saying are advanced analytics. Even Power BI, they are beginners of in Power BI, and they're also advanced of analytics in Power BI. So you have aside from knowing all these hard skills, you also have to know some uh soft skills. You should have to know how to communicate. You should have to know how to do some little technical writing. You don't really have to be a writer. You just have to know the technical part of writing. Also, you also have to be a critical thinker. You also have to be a critical thinker, know how to question. You must know how to ask questions because a data analyst is a curious person. You have to ask questions so that you understand the problem. You have to ask questions so that you understand what you're trying to find. So in my past experience, in my past job, whenever I get a judge from the person that is above me, I ask questions. Like I ask questions severally. You must be detail oriented. You must be detail oriented. So these are some of other soft skills that you have to know, or you must have, even aside the needed hard skills. These soft skills are something that can get you the job and also make you and retain the job for you. So also after this boot camp, you will have opportunity to join some data communities because you also learn to build in public, and you also need to have mentors to guide you, mentors who have gone through that path to guide you throughout the journey, mentors who have gone through that path to guide you throughout the whole journey. So you have opportunity to join some data communities. This right here already, it's already a community on its own, but you also have to opportunity of joining so many communities that we have on Twitter, and I'll give you the tips and everybody to follow and everything. So you know that in tech, the learning is not a sprint, it's marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon race. So you have to keep learning, you have to keep learning, unlearn and relearn. You have to keep learning and unlearn and relearn. It's not something that you say that I'll start to today and I will be say perfect by tomorrow. Technologies evolves, so you have to keep evolving. For you to be relevant in the market, you have to keep evolving. You have to be there. You have to be there to upscale yourself. So these are some of the skills that you need to have, the hard skill that you need to have. We have spreadsheet, that's Excel and Google Sheets. We have SQL, that's SQL query language. Visualization to that's we have Tableau or Power BI. So the difference between Tableau and Power BI is just that Tableau is actually more recognized globally, and Power BI is still recognized globally. But in Nigeria, most companies embraces Power BI the more than Tableau. So you also have to know these tools. But for the course of this bootcamp, you will leverage on Power BI and also Excel to do your analysis. Then these ones you see here, programming language, R and Python, all these ones are advanced analytics. Even some parts of Power BI are still advanced and analytics. So after watering the floor here, after watering the floor here, so after watering the floor here, you are going to move into the advanced analytics. You're going to move into the advanced analytics. After watering the floor here, you're going to move into the advanced analytics. As I said earlier, there are some soft skills that you need: critical thinking and problem solving, research, data collection, teamwork. You have to be able to work with teams, and also, most importantly, presentation. After doing your analysis, you must present it. You must convey your information to your audience. So you have to have a good communication skill to actually also do that. So I've said earlier that you also have to be ready to always build and work in public. You have to build yourself in public. So now I'm going to show you guys how to run a GitHub repository. But before I move on, I don't know if anybody has question. Before I move on, I don't know if anybody has question. Before I move on, I don't know if anybody has question. Any questions so far before I moved on to the GitHub repository creation?
Sorry, we can't see your screen again. I went offline in between.
Oh, really?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. I guess you should be able to see my screen now. Can you see my
Still not
screen?
showing.
Still not showing. Okay. Okay. It's just technical issue coming. Can you see it now? Can you all see the screen now? Can you all see my screen now? The network is just something else this night. It's actually breaking, and can you see the screen now?
No.
Okay. You should be able to see it now, right? If you can see my screen, please indicate. Can you all see my screen now? Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, you can kindly indicate. You can use the chat box to indicate if you can see my screen. Let's move on.
So sorry, Mr. Fabulous. We've been lost for the past 10 minutes, 5 minutes thereabout. Please, can you move back a bit? The tools and all that. Exactly, sir. We've not said anything else in it.
Oh, okay. I don't know why Meet is actually messing up this time around.
So we can't hear you. Neither can we see your screen.
Eh?
We
We
can't
can't
hear
hear
anything,
anything,
sir.
sir.
You and we can't even see your screen. We're not seeing your screen.
Exactly. This is good.
Okay, can you see me now and can you hear me now?
Yes, we can see. I can see you now, but and I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't even know that we went off when. Sorry for the break in transmission actually. Okay, so I was sharing my screen. Yeah. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can
Yes.
do.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. Sorry for the break in transmission. So I was actually talking about uh I was actually talking about the skills that you need as a data analyst. I actually
Ìwà lágbára.
focused more up.
Eh?
uh,
Service yẹn
who is
lágbára sẹ́.
this? Marvelous. I will have to shut you up. Oh. Marvelous, you can mute yourself. So I was actually talking about the soft skill and the hard skill needed as a data analyst. So I actually focus more on the hard skill, which is on the soft skill rather, which is I need to go and mute Marvelous up. Okay, Mr. Marvelous, you are disturbing us. Yeah. Okay, fine. So I was talking about the soft skill and the hard skill needed as a data analyst. I actually focused more on the the soft skills, which is communication skill and also being a critical thinker, right? Is that where I stopped? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I actually buttress more on the soft skill rather than the hard skill because this is where most technical analysts or tech bros or techies get it all wrong. They focus more on getting the hard skill, leaving the soft skill behind. So I will have to also go over it again I also said something about uh, being a detail-oriented person, knowing how to ask questions. A data analyst is a very curious person. You have to always have to ask questions regularly. You have to ask questions to know, to get the bigger insights of your analysis. In data analysis, there's something we call the five whys. It's just like asking the why 5 times. So it's used to get the root cause of the problem. So you're still going to understand that better later, but this is just to tell you how important the soft skills are. The hard skills are important, but the soft skills are actually even more needed. So you also have to have a growth mindset. You have to have a growth mindset, the mindset to grow on a daily, at least every day, devote at least 1 hour to your analytical journey. I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this from experience. When I started my journey, at least every day, I make sure I show up. You need to show up every day. You need to show up every day. By so doing, you are going to grow very well, even before you know it. So the consistency and the commitment, it's something that you need so much. So you can see this ladder here, it actually explains everything about consistency and being inconsistent. So you can see everything here. So you have to actually show up every day. So your visualization tools such as spreadsheets, Excel, visualization tool like Tableau and Power BI. In Excel, we can actually visualize, but it won't be more robust than using Tableau and Power BI. And most recruiters, most industry experts, since most of you here, I'm actually grooming you guys to be a freelance, because I'm not even actually uh I don't want you all to, after learning this, to remain the same. I want you, after learning this, you have to be confident enough to go out there to get that job as a freelance while you wait for the bigger job in a bigger organization. This is what I did, and this is what I'm still doing. So being a freelance will give you an edge over so many things. But if you want to grow more, if you want to grow in your career, you also have to find an organization to put in yourself, and that is where all your portfolios and everything that you've worked in the past are going to help you. So in this bootcamp, you're going to build at least 3 solutions, 3 dashboards, and solve um, problems that you can boast of out there. You can post it on your LinkedIn, you can post it on any of your social media, and you can boast of being an analyst. So the I was saying the difference about Tableau and Power BI. Tableau is actually used worldwide, and Power BI is also well recognized worldwide as well. But Nigeria, I'm talking about the settings that we find ourselves. This is Nigeria. Most industries in Nigeria cherish Power BI more than Tableau. So that's why in this bootcamp, we are going to be using 2 tools, actually, 2 beginner tools. We're going to use Excel. Once you know the Excel, you've already known Google Sheets. They are almost the same thing, just little similarities. They are all spreadsheets. So you're going to focus on Tableau, rather Power BI and Excel. So you're going to really love Power BI. I use Power BI a lot. I love it. I love it a lot. I That's one of the visualization tools I use and I've used for clients over the year. So the visualization that you are going to be using here is Power BI and Excel. So advanced analytics, you have to also know SQL, data, the programming language such like R or Python. Yeah, R or Python might be sounding so scary. Yes, you don't want to code, you don't want to do the hard coding and everything, but in data analysis, you want to solve big data, you have to know the little of Python. Though Power BI can automate all these things for you. So that's why you're going to be leveraging on it. So this is actually to water the fall, to give you the taste of what a data analyst is and what they really actually tends to achieve. So you also have to know how to work in teams, and also very more important, you have to share your work online. Always build in public. Always build in public. I'm actually a testimony of that. When I was learning, I used to share my work out there and recruiters reach out to me by messaging my dashboard and everything. So you must also learn to build in public. Hope you all can still see my screen. Let me know.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, can see.
Okay, so before we go into the GitHub repository, which is one of the first things that we'll have today, actually, this is meant to be a 1 hour section. It's meant to be a 1 hour section. So, do anybody have any question so far or anything outside, rather around what we'll be speaking about introductory to data analytics? Any questions so far?
I want to know if you'll be sharing your slide or your notes with us.
Okay, the one that, yeah, sure. Everything you are going to get, every material I'll be using for each sections is one of the things you signed up for free. So you'll be getting actually everything. Yeah. So any other question?
Excuse me, you mentioned something about 2 sessions a week. Please can you elaborate?
Oh yes. So the goal is for you to always be learning at your own pace. Then we are going to actually have 2 sections for each week. This week now, you are going to learn how to use your GitHub repository and also download all the materials that you need and also open a Microsoft 365 developer account. So I'll be sending you the video for that, for the Microsoft 365 developer account, where you open your Microsoft account and also open an E5 subscription. So all these things will be embedded in the video. If you don't have the latest Microsoft Excel, you have to go through the video to download Office 365. So in every week, like today, which is our onboarding, the resource of downloading the tools, which is Excel and Power BI, will be sent in the group chat, and then uh, our next sections will be on, that's next to, on Thursday. Yeah, our next session is going to be on Thursday, to make sure that everybody has already set up their account. Then if you're having any issue, you can bring it up on Thursday, but the video is actually self-explanatory. You're going to understand everything about downloading an M365 account. So I don't know if anybody here has the latest Microsoft Excel, because that's what we're going to be leveraging on. But if you don't have it, there is no problem. There is no problem. You're going to get it by following the video and downloading Office 365 account. So Zipporah, did that answer your question? Zipporah, any other question? So Zipporah, did that answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, yeah. So any other question from anybody? Any other question?
Yeah, Mr. Fabulous, he said something about GitHub repository creation. Is that something we're going to do this night?
Yeah. I'm going to show you how to um, um, create a GitHub repository here right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, um, let's let me show you how people how to create a GitHub repository account. So here am I in my GitHub. You can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
Okay.
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. This is my GitHub account. This is the project. I upload some of my projects here, actually public projects. Some of the projects I that is meant to be private, I make it private because data is actually very, very, very delicate. You have to actually protect your data. So one thing forgot to mention, you're also going to know how to sell your data. Most times Facebook, all these big tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, you even Google, you find yourself most time they'll be suggesting things to you, things that you already know, and you'll be like, how does this thing happen? Is your data? And you'll be like, are they tracking you? You also learn how to monetize that as well. So that would be a topic of for another day. So this is actually my GitHub account. So if you open up a GitHub account, you have contributed so far, you're going to see an interface like this. So um, here is a repository. So repositories are just see it as a project that you've done so far. Just see it as the project that you've done so far. So I've already created a repository for this data developer bootcamp. This is where you all will be coming to take in the data that we'll be using for this project. I've already created a repository for that. These are all the datas and even more. I'm still going to add more here that I'll be using for this project. So I want to show you how to create a new repository. This is one of the part of reports that I did in the past. So let's go to how to create a new repository. So once you are in your profile, your dashboard rather, you go to this plus sign here. Just click on this drop down. You see new repository. You click on new repository. Once it's loaded up, you find yourself here. Now, what is the name of this repository? So let me call it baby step, or welcome to the analytic world. So this is the name of my repository. Then if I have any description, I can now write, I don't want to write any description of the project. Then do you want to make it public or private? I want it to be public. Then this is very important. Add a readme file. Yes, I want to add a readme file because the readme file is going to help us document our research. It's going to help us document our analysis. Then what else do I want to do here? I'll just go to, okay, create repository. Once the repository is being created, you see, I now have a repository here. Welcome to the analytic world. Now, this is very important. You have to listen careful in this section. Now, this is your repository now. After building your projects, after building anything that you want to build and you want to add it to your cloud, this is just like your portfolio cloud. You come here, is either you create a new file or you upload a file. So now maybe I've finished working on my drive or my system and I want to upload it to the GitHub. I just have to come here, upload file. Once I click on upload file, it will now bring me here. Now I can now choose the file that I want to add here. I can now drag it and drop, just drag it and drop, and it will be all set up. So it's going to load up, it's loading up actually. So it's going to bring out a wizard for me where I can now take the file from my system, from my local drive that I want to put in here. and then put it in there. So I'll just have to just drag it, just drag and drop. I'm not done with this analysis. Okay, just drag it and drop, and that is it. So once it's been loaded, you now come down here and click on commit changes. So once you commit, automatically it's going to be uploaded. You see now I now have airline crash and fatalities report. So I now have it in this welcome to the analytics world. This is amazing. So now if I want to write any description of this program, this is why my readme file is very important. I just have to come here and edit my readme. So this README is actually a coding environment. It's actually a coding environment. If you want to uh, make your text bold, you have to add just one hash. If you want to make it much more smaller, you have to add say a bigger one. So now I want to separate this section from another section. So I'll just have to hold down my shift key underscore. I'll click on enter. Then I'll now write project description. Project project description. So don't forget to put your hash because it's going to make it. Now I want to put three hash so that you see the difference between adding one or adding two or adding three. So here is my project description. I also have to separate this section again. Separate the section. I'll now also write data source. This is actually source and also findings. Now let's preview this so that you see the difference it's gonna make. So now this is the preview. You see the difference between adding an hash and not adding an hash. You see here, welcome to data analytics world. We added one hash. Here we added three. So the more hash you add, the lesser the font and the lesser the bold. So here we did not add anything at all. That's why it brought it up as just a simple text for us here. But this one and the data source and the findings are supposed to be consistent with the both of them. So let's modify it. So I'm just going to add three hashes here and then add another three hashes here. So let me write another one. It's a description. This is an introduction to beginner data analysis. Now, if I have the source, I'll just write the source is from GitHub. And also upload the link if I have one. Then the findings, I now include my findings in anywhere I want it. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. So let's preview it and see. So you see how it came out now. So after doing your analysis, this is how I want you to put it. This is how you're going to put it. The first thing, your project description, welcome to the analytics world, your project description, the data source, the findings, that you've got, also the problem statement, the problem that we're trying to find. So we have problem, findings, and recommendation. Recommendation. So after doing your analysis, you have to actually bring out a recommendation that you recommend. So this is where all this actually comes in very handy. This is actually where everything comes in handy. So that's how to create a simple GitHub account and all. So I hope uh, I hope you all now how to create a simple GitHub account. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Any questions so far? So actually, a recording to this video is going to be dropped in the group chat, so you can do it to revisit it and get any part you actually missed. So any questions so far? Any question about creating a GitHub repository? Any question? No question? Okay. So you all can see how how I created mine.
Okay, sorry, you said the link to the GitHub account will be sent to us, something like that, right?
Yes, sure. You have access to the link to create your own GitHub account, and also you will have to create your first repository, because the repository is actually where people can come and view your work and see your work. Just like the way I did here, I added the file that I've already worked with, and also I gave the project description, the data source, the problem, the findings, and the recommendation. So any insight I got from the data, this is where I have to put it. That's the findings. And if there is any recommendation, I have to put it here. So this is how to document your project on GitHub. So there are still other ways to document your project. That's report writing in Google Docs or Google Docs or Word document, your Microsoft Word document. So, but this GitHub is actually quite important. But most organizations, if you're working in an organization, they will expect you to be using a Google Docs or Microsoft Word to document your project. So they are actually kind of similar, but they are quite different and all. So, any questions so far? And then again, this is where you have to put in the charts. Let me give you an instance. Let me go to the one I created before now. Okay. Hope you can see my screen, because I want to show you guys another. Can you all see my screen, please? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So the dashboard. This is one of the dashboards that I built, a GitHub repository. Uh, coming. Okay, Twitter scraper. So I don't want to bug you guys with a lot of analysis. I want to use just a simple one. think this transaction checkout would do. This transaction checkout will do. Hope you can still see my screen. I think I went off again. Can you still see my screen, please? Indicate.
Yes, we
Yes.
can still see your screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and you went up again.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the analysis that I did. So you see how I documented this here. So first of all, you have to first of all add your chart. Sorry, add your file, and also add the data that you use to work there. Then you can actually beautify it the way you want. So this was a transaction checkout analysis I did for an anonymous company. So this is the project description, the problem statement, research questions, and all that, hypothesis. Actually, in your analysis, your hypothesis is not compulsory. It's not compulsory. It's not compulsory. I just had to do mine here. Then the data design and methodology. These are the steps that you took to do your analysis. How you clean the data, how you wrangle the data. Then if there is any uh your syntax or your code that you wrote, you can still add it there. And then your findings and analysis and everything. So here I did not add chart, but in your own case, you are going to add chart there, because there are still some other projects which I actually made use of the charts. So if you check this Twitter, the data that I analyze using Twitter, this, you can actually impute your charts like this. You can actually impute your charts like this. So this is actually a hashtag Twitter scraper that I did few months ago, if it is up to a month rather. So you can still go around, just play around with this GitHub, just play around while you are also downloading your M365 and also your Power BI to your system. So this is another one. You can still add your charts, add your insights and your analysis there. So I think that will be all for GitHub repository, and we are up. So any question so far? Any question? So since there are no more questions, I think we should call it a day. Or is there any still question? All right. So more informations and everything will be communicated in the group chat.
Thank you very
And
much.
we're going to have the
Yeah.
recording of the meeting, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have the recording of the meeting, like,
Oh yes, you're going to have.
because there are some parts that I missed out on.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, you are going to have a recording of it. So, I need you all to start creating a GitHub repository. Go through the video that will be sent in the group chat, and also download your M365 account. If there is any other problem, you send. If there are any other problem, if you have any other problem, you can always. If you have any other problem, you can always chat me up, and then we'll trash it out in the group chat. So I think we should call it a day here. We are almost past our time, 6 minutes past our time already. It's supposed to be an hour sections. So see you on the group chat and good night.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.